Hello, I'm Cara, and I am just going to start recording and uploading a little bit of video every day, or most days. I think I'm aiming for every weekday, but I have been meaning to start making videos for a while. You can see I have some old ones, some very old ones on this channel that I've, in my life has changed quite a bit since I've made some of them. A lot of them I think I privated, but there are a few old ones up. Anyway, in the last year or so, I've had a lot of ideas, but I've also been very overwhelmed. I've had a lot, financial stress and tried different things. I've had some health stuff, and just kind of always have some health stuff. That means my energy is limited. But mostly the issue is that I have just been feeling bad, feeling like letting myself feel ashamed that I haven't done more already, and that has prevented me from starting. So today I'm just going to start. I'm just stitching right now. Finished another little piece for a commission yesterday. This one, I think it'll be backwards, yep. But this is there's no such thing as a good billionaire piece or pattern, which is pretty simple, just text and then some kind of looks like fancy curtain kind of pulled aside border. But anyway, this is not for a commission, but I just felt like sitting and putting energy into this message for a while this week. So today I just thought I would tell you a little bit about what I'm doing and how I'm set up here. And maybe a little bit about myself, but more specific things than you probably already know that having clicked here. We'll see, we'll maybe talk about later. But so I am cross stitching, which is a form of embroidery generally done on some kind of gridded fabric. You can't see the fabric really at all with this setup, so I won't try and show it up. But this is standard cross stitch fabric is called Ada. So it's gridded and it kind of has little holes, like fibers going across in a weave, and very regular holes in a grid, which means for cross stitch you use 4 of those holes in a square and just make a bunch of X's. And some patterns use half stitches or back stitches and different things, but the basic idea of cross stitch is that it's just a grid, and then with a pattern you can recreate exactly any gridded image or design that you'd like. So there are some very intricate patterns out there of very relatively realistic things like plants and flowers and birds and different things. I have designed a few very small native prairie plant designs. The thing that I've designed the most of are state or kind of area map, earth science map things, patterns, which, do I have one? Probably haven't made it that easy for myself. Oh, I do. So this is one that I finished again recently. This is one of the first ones that I designed. I did Iowa landform regions first, and then this bedrock geology of Iowa. But so that's what I've designed the most of. And then some things like this that are little sayings. And I like cross stitch a lot because once I've decided on a pattern, I have my colors, my embroidery floss sitting next to me. I don't have decisions to make unless I want to change something, but you can just kind of go and be creating something. And a lot of the time, this is really good for my brain to have kind of the creative part of designing a pattern and then the more meditative hands-on execution part being separated, because they use different parts of the brain, any human brain, but for many people, and myself included, the design and decision part is much more stressful for me and not always what I want when I'm crafting. So sometimes I love it and love that expression, and a lot of the time I have just a lot of nervous energy and I want to sit and stitch. So that's what I'm doing now. I can go very fast, partially because I've been stitching a lot for the last decade especially. Also because I have this really nice setup here, so I don't have to use any part of my hands to support the frame, support the fabric that I am stitching on. So I have both my hands to control the thread and keep track of the tension and aim. And since I spend a lot of time, goes in phases, but I'm in a like wanting to stitch a lot phase again right now. I can spend just a lot of time bringing my needle up and down, and because I have my pattern, it ends up creating what I want it to without me necessarily thinking much. So I guess I'll mention quickly, this frame, this little white part here, PVC, is called a Q-snap. They were designed originally for quilting and embroidering on quilting pieces, quilting blocks, I think they're called. I haven't quilted, but I respect it. And the larger, this black thing is a stand. There are a bunch of different floor stands and table stands and lap stands and different things. This one can get a little wobbly. Some of the joints get loose, but overall I really, really like it. I think it's called Needlework System 4. And as far as I could tell from ordering and the troubleshooting process when I had one issue with it, I believe they are just designed and built and sold by a couple of, I would guess, senior folks, elderly folks in, I believe it was North Carolina. So I'm just going to keep picking something to talk about every day and come here and thought I had a knot, but I don't. Talk for a while because, I want to, and I think I have things to show and share eventually. Well, maybe including this, but hopefully with a little more production value eventually. And as I said, I've been feeling stuck, feeling like I should have done more by now, which has been making me have a hard time getting started. It's also just all of the things that are happening. I mean, I'm in Iowa. I'm in the middle of the U.S. We have a bill that's making its way through our state Senate. I believe today. There were a lot of people who protested yesterday at the state capitol. Anyway, this bill is removing gender identity from our Bill of Rights, from the protected identities in our state Bill of Rights, which means that trans people will lose some of the protections that they've won, only very recently in this state. And they've never had as much protection as, or just all the basic human rights that they should have, anywhere in the U.S. or here in Iowa. We have been. Anyway, so that is one of the many, many examples of frustrating and stressful things happening right now. And why that's relevant, aside from just being on all of our minds, is that it also makes me feel like, maybe I shouldn't, or I guess, adds to those voices in my brain of like, why should I make a video? Why should I talk to anybody about stitching? Because there's so many more important and scary things going on. But something that I believe and see other people saying is that, we have to keep being people and keep taking care of ourselves and connecting with people. And we can't just have our faces, shove our faces in all of the terrible news all the time. I feel very strongly that, partially because my mental illness and kind of coping mechanisms tend to be kind of shutting down, and I don't like that. I mean, to a certain, for some things I can't help it, but I do not like that to be, that's not a valid excuse for not paying attention at all or not doing anything at all. But it does mean that I need to manage my feelings. Ooh, going a little fast, not getting always get some knots, but emotions and not keeping track of things, making me any little tense. Anyway, so knowing this about myself, that I have a tendency to at least want to shut down and not do anything, means that I need to put effort into caring for myself, taking care of my needs, so that I can do whatever I'm able to, so that I'm aware of what needs to be done and where my actions might fit in. So I don't, I just talked about that law. I don't plan on talking too much necessarily. Like, I don't want to just come on here and vent about awful things that are happening. But I'm also not going to pretend that they aren't here. So I'm mostly, going to try to be talking about stitching or various things, books and things, other things that I fill my life with, and that will include definitely some social justice stuff. But anyway, for hopefully at least the next few weeks, let's see, I'll decide right now, at least the next 2 weeks, I'm going to get on here, post something every weekday. That's what I'm going to do. Just 10 to 15 minutes. And we're just going to hang out and work on something or talk about something. I think once I have enough subscribers, I think it's low, but it's something like 50 or so on here on YouTube, then I can just hang out and stream. And I might do that if folks would be interested in just hanging out with me, because I'm alone a lot of the time, which in some ways I really like, and in others, we're all isolated, or a lot of us are very isolated in a lot of ways, which is not always great. Anyway, thank you for watching this, and I will be seeing you again soon. Okay.